Hey, Kool-aid Krew, what's cracking? Could somebody give me a 5 for 5 as I get started? And I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. This probably will not be a very long live stream, but I want to make sure everybody sees what's going on here. Um, so I'll just kind of jump into it. Guys, we've had a couple, like, really big eruptions on the sun. Now, the fortunate part is, as you can see right there, as soon as that one over here blew, we got hit with a radiation storm shortly thereafter. And as you can tell, that's what's going on. So, that this is an image from satellite called SOHO. This is a disc in front of the imager on that satellite. It's from our perspective, but we can't see what's behind this. It has to be there for that. So anyway, there's the surface of the sun right there. That's what's represented with the circle. And then we got energy that kind of pops around. That's called a halo eruption. There's a couple of them here that's happening. Now, listen, these are not coming at us. These are actually going off of the backside. So this is a good way for me to show you guys we can get hit with a rapidly intensifying radiation storm, which is what's going on at the moment, without getting hit with a geomagnetic storm. Okay, these things are going off the back. So just to let you know how powerful our sun is, that's exactly what's happening. That one there was a big one. Okay, if that was on this side coming directly at Earth, we're looking at G4, possibly even G5 geomagnetic storming. That's a very especially, and we see this often. We'll get an eruption, and then about 180 degrees on the other side, we'll get another one. So yeah, hey John, hey Vicky, good to see everybody. Hey, Seven Son, Cheryl, good to see you. Glad you caught it live. Hey, Stephanie, Jerry. Guys, please share this out if you could. Hey, Wise Jen, Piper Lynn, playing dirty. Good to see everybody. But, okay, so, yeah, these are big eruptions. Now, here's SDO. This is the 94 angstrom. It's another satellite, and what we're looking at here is extreme ultraviolet. They filter out all light except for one particular wavelength on each image. So what we're seeing here is the 94 angstrom. And I'm not sure what gas we're looking at here because it picks out specific gas. That's why they do that, so we can get a different visual when we look at different angstroms. It helps us get a good idea visually, helps us understand what's actually going on, helps our minds rationalize a 3D kind of imaging what's actually happening. And as you can see, guys, this is that sunspot I was telling you guys. This is the one that was hyperactive when it was over here. And it transversed all the way across the front side. And yes, it blew some stuff our way, but nothing this big. We did get the G1 storms, I think, once or twice when that thing was firing at us. But I showed you guys this yesterday, if you remember. Remember it hey, Planet Hermit, good to see you. Eagle Eye, what's happening? AK, forever in my heart. Hey, Diane. PCM, what's up? Ain't seen you in a minute. Good to see everybody. Hey, Miss V's in the house. Okay, 70 Munoz is here too. Heck yeah, now we can start. Anyway, so this thing is completely on the backside. There's not one part of this, it's on this side of the limb. Look at that. That is a massive eruption, okay? So I'm going to zoom in here with you for a second, and this isn't going to take, again, guys, this is not going to be a very long live stream, but what we're seeing here is significant things, because when we're looking at this, if this sunspot was here, again, we're talking totally different, a whole different conversation we'd be having. So the next question is, yeah, we got this bigger eruption over here too, right? This one actually erupted first. So just like happens often, we see one part of the sun erupt and it just destabilizes the rest of it. And that's exactly what you see here. This erupts 180 degrees that way, and then that one erupts, and you can actually see these other sunspots start to light up too, all about the same time. See, look at all those start getting bright all at the same time. So just let me, I'll just say that. Now, we'll take a look at a different angstrom. I'm going to let this load as we look at something different here. Let's do the. Well, we'll look at the 304 because we can see the plasma really well on this one. It's not going to be as like eruptively looking. Well, I guess it already. And we did actually have an eruption right in the middle also. But here's those are space weather scales. This is what we can expect to see during certain levels of storming. But I want to show you NASA's CME tracker model. Look at that. That's that backside eruption. It's not going. Earth's here, guys. This is top down. This is a side cut, and this is our orbital line. Like I said, you backtrack 3 days, and if we have the same eruption from that same sunspot, look at this over here. Watch this over here. Look at that. If that would have been right at us, we definitely, I mean, at the low end, we're looking at G3. I mean, we're not looking at anything lower than that. It's a massive, massive eruption. So, what happened? Am I still alive? Yeah, I think I'm still alive, right, guys? Sorry, guys. Oh, I must have hit something on my phone there. Can you guys still hear me? Cutting in and out, huh? We're buffering? Okay, can you guys hear me, though? Are we good now? Okay, we good now? All right. Sorry, guys. I'll go ahead and we'll just kill this one right there. Sometimes that helps. Okay, so we're 5 for 5 now, right? All right. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. There's nothing I can do about any of that. But anyway, as we get moving here, you can see, you know, I mean, it's significant here. This is something that, yeah. I don't even know. This is, we had an eruption here. Eruptions here. You got eruptions all over the sun right now, and it's definitely hitting and hitting pretty hard. So, yeah. Now, what we're going to do here, we are going to take a look at the levels that we're looking at. And what we're seeing here, guys, see how fast the protons jumped up? That's our radiation storm. There was no flare because this is on the backside. So why did we get hit with this thing? Well, it crossed our magnetic connection line. We're connected to the sun over here. So when you get something that erupts over there, it crosses our magnetic connection line to the sun. The protons inside that eruption grabbed a hold of that line and actually got siphoned back to us. Okay? So that's what we're looking at there. And I just wanted to make sure that you guys understand that. This, you know, people ask me all the time, how do we get hit with the radiation storm from the backside? Well, that's how. Because we're not connected to the sun here in the middle. We're connected here. So anything that blasts off over here, we call that the danger zone. I don't like using that word, but it is what it is. But you can see the plasma just flicking out all over the place here. It truly is. Well, thank you, God Taylor. I appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. I really do. Thank you for saying that. That keeps me moving. Hey, Wrath. Hey, Stephanie. We lost about half our audience when I started buffering there. This model's creepy. Yeah, it's kind of it does make things look a little intense, doesn't it? But, you know, it is what it is. So, guys, that is plasma leaving. Now, we did have another eruption right here, and that's going to take a back seat to what we're talking about now. It's going to take it 2 to 3 days, if that even comes at us. There's a little bit of eruption there. The dark shadows you see here, these are magnetic filaments laying inside the corona. Okay, they're ropes of magnetism, basically, and you get charged particles that travel across these. Now, when these flick out and break, that's a CME, coronal mass ejection. You can get any other CMEs can come from just eruptions on the sun. Anytime plasma erupts off the sun and escapes and goes out into the solar system, it's called a ICME. It's a interplanetary coronal mass ejection, because sometimes we get eruptions on the sun, and the sun recaptures it. It doesn't actually make it outside, um, get far enough away from the sun for it to keep moving. The sun will actually recapture it by magnetism and gravity, and I'm sure there's some other physics involved there also. But as you can see, guys, the sun is just doing things all over the place here. I really do hope that this. I am glad that this happened 3 days. If it had happened when it was over here, right here in the Earth strike zone, see that square, that rectangle I'm drawing right there, then we're having another conversation, because we definitely would be talking massive geomagnetic storming on an eruption like that. And to kind of hammer that home, we'll just look at this one again. Okay, and actually, I'll back that off right there. And this is Soho. Okay, that satellite sits right in front of Earth from our point of view, and it always stays in front of Earth and orbits around the sun with us. So, let me take you to the eruption that caused the. This is a CME tracker. That's what this thing is here for. So, if I think it's this one, let's take a look. Yep. Okay. Now, anybody that's been watching my channel for any length of time knows that this is a significant eruption. Okay. There is nothing more to say on that end of it. You can tell this is a fast mover. There's a lot of plasma that left the sun. This is a violent eruption. Okay. So yeah. But guys, please do me a favor. Share this out again if you could, because I hate it. I hate it when that happens, because we had there's a lot more people here, and then I buffered for what, 30 seconds maybe. And I get it, because I do the same thing. If I'm watching somebody and it buffers, chances are I'm clicking off. You know what I mean? But as you can tell here, it might be doing it again. Let's find out. Hold on 1 second here. Are we okay? We're 5 for 5, right? I mean, I don't see it buffering on my view here. Okay, so I think we're all right. Anyway, as you can tell, check that out, man. Woof, woof. Now, what you're seeing here on the end of this, and what I'm going to do is take you. Hey, Trinity, good to see you, girl. Let's see. Okay, thank you, Trinity, for saying that. Thank you. Now, this is the full day run on the 21st, and I'm going to pause it right when this big one gets ready to happen. Okay? Now, I'm going to back that up, and we're going to check out the time frame, right? So at 1800 UTC, that's universal time, that's the time the whole world uses, because if we used our own individual time zones, guess what? Things would be all jacked up. People would be so confused in the scientific world. People would be doing, calculations, and it'd be doing this and doing that and going all over the place, right? But thank God they're doing that. So what's it called when a snowman throws a tantrum? A meltdown. Steve, I love you, brother. I really do. You brighten my day every time I see you. Every time I see you in here. That's why I was worried about you. I hadn't seen you in a minute. Hey, Ax, what's happening, brother? Good to see you, bud. Good to see you. Hey, anybody that's a member, guys, go back and watch the members only stream yesterday. Anybody that was in the members only stream yesterday, we watched that court hearing where that girl was on Zoom court, and she told the judge she was in Alaska. And she was in Colorado. Well, somehow the police knew that, and they actually went and picked her up during that Zoom court. And I showed everybody that Zoom court yesterday. Guess what happened today? They posted another court hearing of that girl. So she's back in front of the judge 3 other times. And thank God the girl went and got help, because she was in treatment and stuff. But we're going to watch that on the next members only, just so you guys know. It's, it's cool. We're going to watch some crazy chiropractic stuff too, again. But, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to say that real quick. And thank you guys for anybody becoming members and gifting memberships and things like that. You guys are awesome. So, thank you. But anyway, as you can tell here, guys, I'm going to stop it here again. Right there. We're going to time this out again. Okay? Right around 1800s when that erupted. Now, you're going to see this thing looks like, I don't know, kind of starts to flicker like dust. It almost looks like dust, right? What that is, you see it hitting right here? What that is, those are highly charged particles hitting the satellite. Now, on a typical eruption from the sun, like a CME that's going to hit us, and this is not a CME hitting us. This is actually a radiation storm traveling on our connection line to the sun. So any protons inside of that, it's going to pass real close to this satellite because the satellite's right in front of us, right? So those highly charged particles pepper the satellite, and that's what we see. Now, on a CME, we get like an hour warning, basically, because it'll hit this satellite about an hour before it hits Earth. That's not the case with radiation storms. This radiation storm, check it out, guys, left the sun at 1800, or a little bit before, really, okay, about 1748, and by 1900, we're seeing evidence of that radiation storm already hitting. It got here in roughly just a little over an hour. So that tells you how fast that moves. The sun's 93 million miles away, so you can do the calculations if you want, but that's how fast these radiation storms move. Okay, but I do want to say this too. This one here, we went, this eruption, this radiation storm went from zero to hero quickly, okay? So if we're looking at this, it's right here. See how we're down here on the basement? That's how we measure radiation storms, by the protons, the amount of protons, the fluctuation of them. And you can tell, guys, we were way down here. And I talked about this yesterday. I just did a video yesterday saying our radiation levels were at a 10-year low, and they still are. This isn't going to change that. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. Okay? I was just explaining how the sun's radiation is different than cosmic rays. The sun's radiation is helping us block cosmic rays, believe it or not. So, and I went over all that yesterday, so if you guys want to see that, it's in my previous video there. But as you can tell, yeah. Now, during an S1 storm, right? S1, again, we measure radiation storms by protons, and S1 is the lowest level. Now, I'm going to show you these space weather scales, and what's it say? Biological effects, none. Okay, so as long as it's in S1 storm level, we're not going to see any effects of this. Okay, we're not going to notice anything. But it's already to S2. This went, again, almost straight to S2. And what is evident of that? Right there. I mean, it did. I mean, it just shot straight up. Now, if our protons were kind of hanging out here at a baseline, this thing would have already been up here. Okay, and the same's true when we're talking about, X-ray flux, when we're talking about flares, right? Always talk about the base level. During solar minimum, this base level is typically down here. Right now, it's up here. Right now, we're not coming out of C-class range. C-class flare range. We're staying in it. Okay, we're essentially getting hit with X-rays at the level of a C-class flare at all times right now. Okay, so any kind of extra flaring that we see bounces that up, right? So the same thing's true with the proton flux. Now, I can't tell you how strong this is going to get, right? I don't know the future here. But all I can tell you is that it went straight up very, very quickly, and it did hit S2 for a short amount of time already. It's going to go back up there, okay? I'm just going to tell you that. Well, we're back there already. See? Latest observed. We were here at 24-hour maximum. We were already at S2. This thing just basically went from 0 to S2 that quick, okay? So what's an S2 going to do? Passengers and crew, high-flying aircraft at high latitudes may be exposed to elevated radiation risks. Okay, that's pretty simple. But yeah, can you guys give me a roll call in there if you would, please? This is a regional type of thing. You ain't got to tell me exactly where you're at. I just find it curious where you guys are at. And by the way, guys, tomorrow night during my show, I'll be giving away 5 memberships, so you guys know that. Okay. So come back tomorrow if you want to try to get a free membership. The algorithm picks who gets it, but I'll let you guys know when I do that, so you guys can get active in the chat, because the algorithm will give it to the most active person in the chat. So anyway, so infrequent single event upsets possible. That's on your satellites. Now this is during an S2. Other systems, small effects on high frequency propagation in the polar regions. And the reason it's in the polar regions because things come in on the poles first. Okay? North-South pole. Because of how it even got here. How did it get here? It got here by magnetics, right? So we got North-South pole. Positive, negative. You can think of our North-South pole as a bar magnet. Positive on one side, negative on the other. Okay? Also, I got a question yesterday, and it's relevant. They asked me, are we on a cycle for a polarity flip? I don't know the amount of years that they expect it. I can't remember exactly, but yes, it is on a cycle. Are we ahead? Are we behind? The way that I understand that it could happen at any time. We're due for it. We're kind of overdue, I guess, if you look at the percentages there. And I'm not going to get into some big conversation on that right now, but that question was asked. Is that on a cycle just like a lot of other things with the sun and the earth? Yes, here on the earth, because the sun has roughly an 11-year magnetic polarity flip. That's the sun cycle itself, right? It's not an exact date. Just like here, when it happens, it's not going to be an exact date. Nobody's going to be able to tell you on this day this is going to happen. But that was a very legit question, and I wanted to make sure that I answered that one. So, but yes, it is on a cycle, but I'm not sure exactly how many years, thousands of years it takes. But it is in the thousands of years, okay? Just so you know. All right, but if we get to S3, and I think we got a really good chance of getting there, guys. Okay, and why do I think that? Because if we come over here, now this here is the same satellite as this. Okay, this one here is just zoomed out. You got a wider view. So we're going to watch this one, and there's enough pepper in this satellite that is telling me this is going to get pretty intense as far as radiation storms. Now, I think we got to an S3, maybe close to an S4, the last radiation storm we had. But I don't get to report on those kinds of events very often because they simply just don't happen that often. This is one of those times that this is a significant radiation storm, and we need to make sure that we pay attention to what's going on. That's all. Now, there is no fear, and there is not necessarily like danger, immediate type of thing. But I would stress that we need to watch this. Now, if there's another eruption from that same sunspot, the same thing's going to happen. It's most likely going to connect, okay? And it's going to shoot more protons our way again. And the chances of that sunspot erupting again are fairly high. It's already unstable. Now, granted, sometimes when they have the bigger eruptions, sometimes will expend out a lot of that energy, and it just won't have the power to really blast off a big one. Other times it has the opposite effect. Other times you'll get a huge eruption, and then it destabilizes the whole region on that part of the sun, and then the sun just starts going crazy. Okay, so only time's going to tell. So if there's a question there. Hopefully that kind of helps people. Does radiation affect snowfall or winter weather, or is it too far out? Plus, we have our what's that say? Other magnetic, etc. That's a good question. I would say this: the sun itself, because again, there's multiple different kinds of radiation we have to talk about, and I kind of went over two of them yesterday: radiation from the sun and radiation from cosmic rays, which comes from like supernovas and stuff out in the cosmos that come in outside of our area, our solar system. We have a magnetosphere that helps protect us from the sun, right? But we need enough geomagnetism to help protect us from cosmic rays. Where do we get the geomagnetism from? The sun. The sun has a heliosphere. We have a magnetosphere, but the sun actually has a heliosphere that protects us, the whole solar system, from cosmic rays. It helps block that stuff. Okay? So they're very similar in how they operate, but they're not exact. But, the Earth has the sun, and I say this a lot. I've been saying a lot more here lately, seems like. The sun helps protect us from the sun. I can't really say much more on that. It's just what it is. That's what happens. So, and I can go a little bit more in detail here on that real quick. Like, if we're looking at what the sun can do, most of the time we're talking about geomagnetic activity, right? Or solar flares. They're two different things. Some people think they're one. They're not. Geomagnetic activity is caused from plasma hitting Earth. Highly charged particles hitting Earth. Solar flares are X-ray. They move at the speed of light. They're here in 8 minutes. So when you go outside and look up at the sun, that's what the sun looked like 8 minutes ago. Okay? Just so you know. But it also produces geomagnetic activity through CMEs and through everything else that's going on with the sun. We're always getting hit with solar wind at all times. Okay? It never stops. So our magnetotail actually will go from left to right, and, that's just how it works. But when we're talking about geomagnetic activity, you can tell that we're at about a 3 right now on the KP. That's the indice they use to measure geomagnetic activity. If we get to a 5, that's a G1 storm. Low level stuff, not a whole lot happens during those kinds of storms, but things do. We're talking about the bomb cyclone out there on the west. Our good friend Adam Marfugel, he's dealing with that. I think Mist might be dealing with that too, Miss Dragon. She's out that direction. And listen, he's not going to have power until like he was saying like the 23rd. So, I mean, that was a big deal out there. That's local weather. The sun is the single most influential thing on our weather, on our planet altogether. Hey, Diane, good to see you. Hey, Seeking Truth. Kathy, aloha. Hey, Briar Patch. Genius is here. What's up, girl? Deep Quake Paul's here. Good to see everybody. Had a good time in that members only stream last night, guys. I needed that, so thank you. Thank you guys for coming in there and just being, who we are, you know what I mean? But as far as geomagnetic activity, we need to be about, right where we're at right now. Now, we don't want to have a 9, right? Because then we're talking about G5 level storming that has real effects on everything. And it has real effects at all times anyway, but the effects get more intense and start to become, stuff that we don't want to happen, like power outages and things like that. As far as grid down stuff, we're not in any way, shape, or form nowhere close to that right now. Just so everybody, if anybody's wondering that's not happening. But I do, prayers for everybody out there, good thoughts, whatever you do. Dealing with that out there. Being without power that long is not a good thing. It's really, really bad, especially during the winter. Plus, guys, look around you. The world's going crazy. I'm not going to get into all that. It's just not what we do here. I try to give people a break from that. You know what I mean? And that's what I do. But don't get me wrong. I'm a moderator over on Marfugel. Okay? So I am very much in touch and stay up with everything that's going on. I choose not to talk about it here because that's not what my channel is. I have my opinions. You know, everybody has theirs. But at the same time, we also need to make sure that we're keeping our brains healthy in the way that we need to stay mentally, you know, positive and focused. Because when we start getting in a bad funk, things just get worse, you know? Even if things are getting better, if you're in a bad funk, guess what? Things are getting worse for you. And so let's just not do that. You know what I'm saying? So I try to, you know, bring things, important things we need to see, but I try to give it to you guys in a positive way. And I hope you guys see my effort in that, and I hope you guys really do appreciate it. I know almost all of you guys do. And thank you for being here and, you know, giving the time to listen to some hillbilly from Indiana talk about space weather, which I never thought that sentence would ever come out of my mouth, but it does. So, anyway, um, so how high do I think this is going to get? I think we got a possibility of getting to an S3 because this isn't going to go away right away. Okay, this is going to hang around probably for at least a day, maybe even two. If we get more eruptions, it's definitely going to be here for a minute. Okay. Now, as far as other things happening on the sun, I'll go over that real quick. You can tell, guys, that we are, well, let me back off of that. Let's just back off of that. Let's just bring up the full day run here. Again, this is from our perspective. It's just this satellite's a million miles closer to the sun. Now, that eruption was on the backside, too. So that, to me, right here, watch this eruption here, right there, okay? To me, that's the one that I'm going to be watching, that area of the sun, because it's rotating in towards us. Right here it is. See that? Watch what it does. Wham. That's your CME. Okay? Notice how you've seen some stuff moving here, here, and everywhere. That's what I'm talking about. This one's moving in towards our strike zone. This one's going further away. So this is becoming less and less of a danger or a concern, I guess, if you want to use, or just a point of interest. But this one here is the one that I'm going to be watching closer. Now, I will be watching these filaments too, because these here, in my opinion, is probably the name of the game right now. There's not a whole lot of humongous sunspots on the front side of the sun right now. So, you know, you can tell that the sun's off, you know, blowing here too. Watch this one. Okay, you see how it's getting drawn back? That's that magnetic connection line I tell you guys about all the time. That's highly charged particles traveling on a magnetic connection line. That's what you're seeing there. Okay? So things are erupting, things are doing what they do. And that's just what it is. But yeah. Okay. Now, you know, as far as, and we can come over here and look at Dr. Tony Phillips. This is spaceweather.com. Please come over here and check this out. As a matter of fact, I'm going to just refresh that page. Okay. There it goes. He's got it still the same. Come over here and check it out. Now we're looking at these trimethyl aluminum twisters. These are caused by not eruptions, but rocket launches. Okay. They're clouds, trimethyl aluminum clouds that are formed from rocket launches. And I'm not going to get into detail here, but you can see. Wouldn't that be cool to go outside and see? I mean, that's pretty neat. Again, that's not naturally made. That's from a rocket launch. I think in Norway is where those are launched from. But anyway, so that's what he's got going on there. Now, come over here and check him out, though, because he's got fireball reports and all the above. Saw the Apple store got robbed. I guess that makes me an eyewitness. You're crazy. You're crazy, man. Thank you, Seventh. I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Hey, I would highlight that and have it pop up on screen. I know everybody can see it in the chat. I can't do that right now because I'm not sitting at my desk where I have all my stuff at. I'm actually on a laptop, which is probably why we buffered earlier. My wife is doing homework. She's going back to college. And just trying to support her and give her her area when she's doing her stuff. So I came out here in the living room sitting on the couch with a laptop trying to do this for you guys. Also, guys, we got corona holes. But thank you, Seventh. You're awesome, bud. I really do appreciate it. Hey, Axe, thank you for putting that down there for me, bud. Appreciate you. But these corona holes, these are holes in the atmosphere of the sun. The dark, why it's dark, that's the actual surface. It's not a hole in the sun. The surface of the sun is colder than the atmosphere. And I'm not going to really get into all that right now, but that's the truth. The Parker SP probe is supposed to go back in there the day after, is it Christmas Eve or the day after Christmas? Going to get back into the one that kissed the sun, that satellite, if you guys remember that one. It actually got into the atmosphere of the sun and took some data readings. And they're sending it back for its closest approach ever. So it's going to break more records if it's successful. But as you can tell, guys, when that opens up, when the atmosphere gets pulled back like that, those highly charged particles that are always hitting us become more intense, they become faster and more dense. So when that's in the air strike zone right here, one of the biggest things I want you guys to understand, historic data will tell you that we see a seismic uptick every time we have a coronal hole facing Earth. You can go look at the data, it's there. Do I know why that happens? Absolutely not. I do not know. I am not the earthquake guy. Ron, over at Emergency Management Associates, he's a really good dude. Go check out his channel. He talks about that often. He's also good at prepping and things like that if you guys are interested in that. But we also got Rip in here. We got Ripper. Does some really good stuff. Mist is in here. Good to see you, girl. Hope you're feeling well. Stephanie's here. Wise Jen. Genius is in here. I haven't seen the sun in 3 days. Yeah, bad weather. That sucks. 36 and snow. Yeah. I tell you, we weren't expecting this much, and we got more than what I thought we were going to get. We got like 2 or 3 inches out there. I didn't think we were going to get that much. But anyway, when we get highly charged particles flowing out, guys, that can cause geomagnetic storms. That is what causes it. But oftentimes we're talking about geomagnetic storms being caused by CMEs. And that's just a big collection of those charged particles. Okay, plasma. You got solid, liquid, gas, and you got the fourth state of matter, which is called plasma. It's nothing more than a gas that has a magnetic charge, positive or negative. That's what plasma is. And they just added that one, decades back, I think. But yeah, so that flows out, and it flows out faster, more dense when the corona, the atmosphere of the sun, gets peeled back some. As you can see, these lines of sunspots, like right here and right here, they line up horizontally because the equator of the sun rotates faster than the pole regions. So it pulls those magnetic lines. Eventually, they become almost completely horizontal. And then when we have the termination event, which is the polarity flip on the sun. Okay, they meet somewhere in the equator or in that region somewhere. The termination event happens, and then what was positive in the northern hemisphere becomes negative, and what was negative in the southern hemisphere becomes positive. Okay, so and then everything resets. The whole thing starts more vertical, like this, like a bar magnet, like I said earlier. But because the equatorial region of the sun rotates faster, it pulls those magnetic lines like that, right? And then through time, they basically just get pulled almost directly horizontal. And basically when you see a sunspot, it's a kink in a magnetic line that pokes through the surface. And it can happen at any time. They can take upwards of days to show themselves, or they can show themselves almost immediately. And I've seen them pop up and blow flares right away. Genius! Thank you. Wow. Thank you for delivering your message without fear. We aren't created in that energy, and that's what makes your content pleasant to listen to. Thank you for that. So cool. Thank you. I would highlight that, but like I said, I'm in the other room. I just wanted to make sure you guys got this, because I wasn't going to be able to bring it to you unless I did it this way. But thank you so much. Very generous. Very generous, Genius. Thank you so much. You guys make my day every time, guys. Just being here, just talking to you guys. Wise Jen, what's up? I wish there was a word to be able to really let you guys know how much it means to me. There's just not a word made, really. But also, Dr. Tony Phillips, guys, he does send up those weather balloons, and I talked about that yesterday. That's how we know we're at a 10-year low in the radiation from the sun or from the cosmic rays. Our sun is helping us block those cosmic rays. Those cosmic rays, when we start getting blasted with those things, they can make us sick. Okay? So just understand that. Hey, Seeking Truth. LMG Philanthropies in the house. Rampage, good to see ya. Good to see ya. Back at you, Trinity. You're awesome. Guys, get over and check out Trinity's channel. Get over and check out Axe's channel. You guys need to. As a matter of fact, hold on. Well, I thought I was doing something there. Yeah, I can't get there from here. Anyway, go down and check out my awesome channel list. They're both on there. So check out all those channels, guys, please. We got to support our community, right? And the best way to do that is to like and share. Sharing is huge, okay? And obviously donating like they do to help us keep going, like you guys all do for me and everybody else. It's such a blessing. And everybody, I will never ever send you guys to somebody that's hateful, somebody that's nasty. And if I ever send you to somebody like that, I will tell you that up front. Like, so, just because somebody's nasty and mean doesn't mean they don't have some good information to share. Because there's a lot of really smart, nasty, mean people out there, right? So if you're able to understand that and you can deal with that little bit and kind of kick that to the side, you can still get some good information out of that. And if I ever see something like that and I want you guys to go watch it, I will tell you that up front. But I will never put somebody in my awesome channel list that is just disgusting. Okay? So, that's just how I operate. I don't allow it in my chat, and I ain't going to send you guys somewhere where it is allowed. But anyway, they're in my awesome channel list because they're awesome people, and they do awesome content. And that goes for everybody. So, prayers for everybody out there, you know. But Axe and Nacho, they crack me up. I mean, so hard. Hey, I haven't seen Aaron for a minute. Has he been in here, guys? If you're out there, brother, know I'm thinking about you. Just so you know, okay? Anybody? Hey, Miss V, good to see you. Sage Pup's here. Mark Matheny, good to see everybody. There you go. That's how we do it, right there. Thank you, Trinity. I love your stuff, Seventh. You crack me up, man. Anyway, but yeah, guys. So if we get any more eruptions, I'll be back here to let you guys know. If something bigger is happening, I will get here as quick as I can. I always do. But I'm not gonna, just jump out here for no reason, unless it's my daily update that I try to give you guys. But I do think that the eruption right there, that area of the sun is going to be rotating in. Okay, so we're gonna have to watch it, and if it's still active when it gets on this side, I mean, it could be whatever. And these magnetic filaments, in my opinion, is what we need to watch the most right now. They seem to be starting to destabilize a little bit more. And these things have these magnetic filaments do carry a lot of density typically. And if it hits us the right way, we can get some really massive geomagnetic storming out of that. But for everybody out of power, prayers for you. Anybody that's ill, let's get some ones in the chat for everybody that's dealing with medical stuff. I know Mist is. And I know there's other people here that are too, but I'm not sure if they want me to say it, so I'm not going to say who those people are. But just know I'm thinking about you. Some of them are my mod crew, and then you probably know who I'm talking about, moderators, if once I say that. But I'm not sure if they want me to say their name, so I'm not going to. But we love y'all, and so let's get some ones in the chat for them. And we'll just do it that way, guys. And I'll be back if there's anything else that happens. And I'll see you tomorrow if not. And I plan on trying to do another members only stream this weekend, sometime either tomorrow or sometime later on this weekend. We come together, guys, and we laugh. That's what we do. And I can't tell you how much my mood improved after that last night. I've been struggling a little bit with seasonal depression and stuff. I fight that, and I don't come out here and talk about it a lot because I don't want to put that stuff out on the people. So, but I do, but I know how to. I'm not like, oh God, nothing like that. It's just I do fight it this time of year, and coming together with you guys and laughing and stuff like that, it helps. Get out there and ground yourself also. Put your bare feet in the dirt, okay? I know it sounds ridiculous to some people. Just try it. That's all I'm saying. It's not like you're going to put your feet in the dirt and everything's going to be, the clouds are going to part and the sunshine's going to hit you, and you start to see, stars everywhere, and the great music comes on, and everybody's just it ain't like that, okay? It is just an overall better feeling for the rest of the day. Just saying. All right, guys. Let's see here. You posting a video tonight, Miss Dragon? Cool. Let's check it out, guys. Get over and check her out. All right, guys. God bless. Yahusha saves. And thank you for everybody that, Genius and Steve for donating today with the super chats. God bless. Yahusha saves. And as always, you can drink this Kool-Aid.